All right, we are live. It is Fire Drill Friday.
Fire Drill Friday.
Fire Drill Friday.
And that means we are Wayne free.
Wayne free.
And I am being accompanied and assisted
Co-piloted.
and
Yeah.
co-piloted
Yes.
and invaded by the winning
For
women
real.
of Wednesday.
Yes.
There we
Yes.
go. I got to keep the alliterations going.
Yes.
Okay.
You know.
And we have to behave ourselves because this is live.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
do we?
But you're right.
Well, we've got some on tape. The pre-show wasn't quite NC-17, but it certainly wasn't PG-13.
Yeah,
For sure.
Yeah.
For
That's
sure.
because of me.
Yeah.
So
Which
that's okay.
then brings it out of me because then I'm like, oh wow,
Yeah,
we're
let's
working
go.
blue. Let's go.
Ashley taught me a new word that we can't say on the air. No, I don't think we can.
Okay, got it.
So how y'all doing? How y'all doing?
Man, it's Friday. I'm
is Friday.
good. I'm good. I had a great time at the Metrotex event last night.
Yeah,
Thank
we
you.
had
Thank you.
Fuse. It was at Raleigh Underground, which I'd never been there before.
So what is that place?
It's new, and it's at
And it's impossible to get to.
yes,
Like-
the Toyota Music Factory in Irving. But they have all the construction going on still in there, and then there was a concert. So that's why everything was blocked off. So it was real hard, real hot. And so by the time everybody got, we all looked like we were like paintings that were drying, and then just
Yes.
somebody put their fingers down your face.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It was brutal. It was brutal.
But it was a great showing. I mean, we had
was a
over
great time.
100 and I think 20 people from
awesome.
global, from our young professionals, and from our commercial. And no, it was a really energized time too.
so I guess I crashed because I'm none of those.
well, but you're all things.
I'm all things. I am all
You're all
things.
things.
I am all things.
Yeah. And
as most realtors are.
So I was just saying this morning, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I
Same.
don't even know what's going on.
And
right
that's
now.
why I was curious. Is this an existential crisis or just a,
You know what it is? I happily have my hand in so many cool things that I'm enjoying, but I'm having to transition in and out of several different aspects on a daily basis. So it's like doing this is awesome. I love doing, the podcast with you guys and doing that. And then I'll go home and I'll be a mom for a little bit because she's going to the pool with her dad and
Love it.
a play date today. So I got to get her ready and do that. And then I'm going to run do a final walkthrough, for the job that actually pays me.
Love that. Yeah.
And then, I'll do a listing appointment afterwards, and then I'll go and play pickleball because that's really my passion. So I'm like,
I can't with the pickleball people. I
so
cannot.
what? Okay.
why?
Now I'm curious because I too, and I think all three of us have that same sort of, it's plate spinning,
Yes,
we're
and I love
juggling
it.
chainsaws, and it's like, hey, let's throw a torch in there too. I think I can, all right.
Oh, and I'll be president of Metrotex as well today. Let's try that.
Let's add that.
Let's just add that.
Yeah, so it's like you have official, unofficial, and just like regular familial stuff. So
Yeah.
now I feel energized. I don't like chaos,
Correct.
but I do like that sort of variety of activity.
Yes.
So I actually get energized the more stuff that I do that is, at least on the surface, unconnected.
Yeah, and not like I don't like the repetition, and I don't want to get into a mundane rhythm.
Sure.
And I think so it's good, but that's why I was like sitting here. I'm going, there's a lot of things going on right now, and I'm like, what am I doing? But
That's where
okay.
time management.
Oh
comes
gosh,
in.
sorry. That's your
And is
voodoo.
there- is there
Don't get me with your voodoo magic of time
Yeah.
management.
So sorry.
What is
there
that?
actually such a thing? Like for me, that really just consists of it's either in the Google Calendar or it isn't.
Correct. That is my time management. Send a calendar invite.
Yes. And, oh, dude, I am the king of that too, where it's like, I'm going to ask you to send the invite.
Yes.
Because, and I freely admit now, like, all right, I'm gonna like literally be super stoked about fill in the blank whenever we're on the phone.
Sure.
And then I'm gonna get off the phone, and then I'm gonna look at 17 other things.
Yeah, and done. Well, it's like her last night. She's leaving. She goes, okay. I said, well, I'll see you in the morning at 10. She goes, and even Alan, her husband's like, no, Ashley. It's
at
like,
9.
oh, 9. Okay, I'll see you at 9 because I would not have been here.
But you're here.
But
You
I'm
made it.
But I'm here because I didn't have a calendar and I didn't put it on my thing. So it's
Okay,
fine.
see, so all right, there now.
to know.
What do we do when neither one of us sends a calendar invite?
That's the problem.
Yeah.
The blind leading the blind
Yes,
here.
it's like okay,
love it.
So we need to hire somebody. to
Michelle.
yeah.
This is what you're supposed
Okay.
You're the
Here come-
accountability coach.
Here come the calendar invite. But if you don't accept them,
I accept them.
like my husband, I
Oh.
send him calendar invites, and I'm like, "You got the calendar invite?"
Okay, so pro
and he
tip.
says, "Yeah, I saw it."
So
Great.
the pro tip is where you set up your Gmail to insert everything into the calendar.
Okay.
But you have it where it does not confirm.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I learned
like
that.
that.
I learned
Okay.
that. Speaking of Metrotex, I learned that early because I was brand new, and like, of course, the minute you show up to stuff,
Yeah.
even on the regular, just a little bit,
Yeah.
you get invited to more stuff.
For sure.
And I was the king of saying yes in the moment because, like, oh, right here, this moment, this sounds kick ass or what, you know, like, I can't wait. And then 3 weeks from now, it's like, oh, and I used to
exhausted.
overbook.
Yeah.
And I don't know about y'all, but I used to have this thing where I would overbook and hyperextend myself.
Yeah.
And then I get pissed at whoever invited me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Yes.
That's how I feel with my
Yes.
husband
It was
sometimes.
never
Yes.
on me. It
Yeah.
was like, oh, and then they invited me this. They're always inviting me, you know, like, because I also have this thing where more often than not, I want to be invited. I just don't want to go.
Oh yeah,
so
I just
many
want to be
people.
considered.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I just want to know that I was in your frame of reference.
Yes.
Like you want me there.
I made the list. I made the cut, but I don't necessarily want to go.
Yes.
Yes.
That was me
Yes.
at the D magazine party. And I was like, I was sitting there and I was so tired. And then I was like, God, it's gonna be so far and the parking's gonna be awful and it's so hot. And then
And it was.
And it was. And did you go?
No.
Oh, and so Johnny went and he was like, what, do you have premonitions? I'm like, no, I just know what's going on. And he was like, the parking was horrendous. We were all sweating. You know, it was just, it's more about being there. And so it was the thing. It was like, cool.
Yes.
I was invited and I still have my little moniker and I'll probably put it on a funny picture instead of a cute picture. Just
There
be
you
like,
go.
hey, what's up?
Well, and that also, like, a lot of those things fall under the category that I use as this will be something that, like, later on when I remember it, I'll be glad that I went.
Yeah.
But right now, this sucks.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I mean, there were not that leadership, like, there were days in leadership where it's like by 1 p.m. or 1:32, I'm like, oh my God.
Why did I do this
Yeah.
to
Oh my
myself?
God.
Yeah.
Or I have 500 things on fire Thursday night and it's like, oh, tomorrow's there the phone goes in the bag.
Yes.
It's
Well, that's why we have
Yes.
fire drill Friday, right?
Yes.
Because you can just get it going.
Yes.
Speaking
yes.
of, so
Okay.
should we just pull a topic?
Let's pull a
Yeah.
topic
Okay.
out.
Let's do
Michelle's like, rein it in, guys.
yeah.
Can y'all believe that it's the end of the month?
I don't know what day it is. I don't know what I'm doing. I just look at my calendar and I go.
We are at the end of June. That is hard to believe. Like it went
4th
fast.
of July next week.
I know. It went so fast.
My daughter reminded
Provide
me
a
we're
topic
closer to Christmas than we're not.
Entrepreneurial
Ooh.
mindset business with a single
Yeah, I have a
topic,
friend
a famous
that wants to
quote,
put up her Christmas tree.
and an
And
action
I'm just
item.
like, we're done. Like, if you do that, we're done.
There's like people
That's
do
you,
Christmas
Glenda.
in July. Oh, Glinda.
Yeah, no. Love Glenda, but no, don't
No.
put up the tree.
No. It's like you walk into a decor store and it's like Halloween.
No,
like,
it's too early.
No.
Oh, no, I got a email from Pottery Barn about their Halloween stuff, and it said these will sell out. I'm like, fair. I don't care. I don't need Halloween merchandise.
Who are those women
Yeah.
that are already buying Pottery Barn decor?
I know.
Because
I know.
I am not one.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So do y'all do up like the decorations and stuff?
I do.
I do.
And we do like Zombieland outside and like all the
Yeah.
social because my kid likes scary
Halloween
stuff.
is my favorite.
Yeah, I love Halloween.
But in my adult life now, there are a couple of points in there that are a little hazy as far as like as far as from a chemical standpoint.
Yeah.
But I can pretty safely say I've never decorated for anything in my adult life,
Really?
Christmas included. Yeah. So it's like,
Oh, no.
it's not your gig.
no.
Okay.
We decorate. We we do all the things. We love Halloween.
I'm gonna procrastinate, and if you're sending me an email 3-4 months ahead of a holiday, it ain't happening.
No.
Yeah, like what's the marketing
No.
department up to there?
Thank you.
It's way too
Shaming me.
early. Way too early.
So the Oracle has given us the power of perseverance in entrepreneurship.
Okay.
It's not that I'm so smart, it's just that I stay with problems longer.
Okay.
And that's Albert Einstein.
I like that.
Yes.
Well, I think perseverance in anything, but particularly in entrepreneurship is crucial.
Yes. And then it says here, identify a challenging aspect of your current business venture.
How long is this show?
Right.
We don't even need to go like. Yeah. So it's funny. I was listening as I was getting ready. I was listening. I like people yelling at me when I need to get amped up and stuff. So it was a compilation on YouTube for like 10 minutes. It was like, don't give up.
Hustle
like,
porn.
cool. Huh?
Hustle
yeah,
porn.
it was. And the thing was, it was like basically, hustle, being a hustler will always outwork talent. You
For sure.
know, and
Every time.
that's the biggest thing that it's the common theme that we all talk about. It's like, I am not the smartest in the room. I am not the most talented. I'm going to bring it back to pickleball. right? I'm not going to be like, I was horrible at table tennis and ping pong.
Have you ever played pickleball?
No.
Okay, we'll try it. But no, it's one of those things where it's like, but I'm going to out hustle you and I'm going to out heart you. And so
Yes.
I'm still a formidable opponent, always was in sports. But this is not, I mean, this body, which you're holding me accountable to, and this was a bad week, by the way, on my accountability for Bikini Christmas. But it's just one of those
It was
things
those
that
little nachos from last night. They were so good.
rim
And those little-
steak nachos.
what even is that?
I
And
don't
the
know.
Chicken?
Yeah,
the chicken thing?
the Korean chicken pie
Yeah,
things.
those were
Yeah.
good.
It was good.
They were good.
But no, and so it's just one of those things where, and so people still want to play with that. They want to play with that energy because
Yes.
somebody might be more technically gifted, but you're going to carry them and lift them up during an intense challenge or a competition because it's that motivation and it's that keeping you going.
It's the energy.
Yeah, it's
Like-
that energy that goes. So it's like, yeah, I'm Rudy Rudiger.
But the problem with that we run into in art, well, I think any entrepreneur, and particularly in the real estate industry, is we also have to know not when to give up, but when to take a break
Or pivot.
or pivot.
Or
And,
next.
Yeah, and we can be really, really stubborn in this industry. And that's why I think burnout is so heavy right now because we're pushing and we're pushing and
Yeah.
we're pushing. And sometimes we have to take a rest. Like, it doesn't matter what you do, you can't.
Well, and you make fun of me, but that's my pickleball because I can't rest. I don't rest well, but I just have
Same.
to.
No.
I have to pivot
That's-
into something else that's going to allow my brain to
That
shift.
is
and
rest.
yes, that is rest.
That is rest.
Yes,
Yes. No, I'm the same way. I have to be doing something, but it's very different stressing over, okay, what can I do to make this house sell?
Yeah.
Versus, okay, I'm going to go for a hike and not listen to anything and just clear my mind.
Yeah.
That is rest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
and there's something that something that's either physically demanding or active can be restorative. Kind of going back to what we were talking about earlier,
Yeah.
where I hate not having something to do.
For sure.
It makes me crazy.
Well, because you're going to find something to do.
Yeah.
And it might not be the good thing to do, but that's
and historically, idle hand, devil's workshop.
Absolutely.
I'm in rehab.
no. I mean,
It's such a quick progression.
Yeah, no,
Exactly, yeah, exactly. 9 a.m. Oh, 7:30's in Green Oaks.
yeah. Oh, break. But I think the biggest
At
thing
least
is
you have one on standby.
Yeah, no. But I think that's the thing. You have to know how you're wired, and then you
Yes.
have to be able to know, like, when it gets to that point. To Michelle's point, it's like, okay, no, I got to tap into that other
Yes.
thing just for a minute because your battery is being depleted, and when that battery goes to zilch, no matter how much you want to persevere in those moments,
You just
you're-
can't.
Well, you're not going to be effective.
No.
So
I'm curious now. So like I've been experiencing this like for the last week or so, where it's like I'm so stoked for like what I've got going on
Yeah.
with me and Lance and the sort of like secret reveal that will happen here shortly. But it's like I'm wanting to get to that. Do you have this where it's like I don't know if it's like shiny object syndrome
It's like
or whatever,
Christmas for adults. It's like your Christmas.
but it's like I want to focus on that,
Yeah.
even though like right now there is zero return out
Yes,
of that's
absolutely.
tangible. But I'm like, well, here, let me like these other things that have been working, that do work, that like you said, let me work on the thing that brings money.
Uh-huh.
It's like let's not do that. And let's do this other thing.
Because it gives you energy. And
We're
it's
process
exciting.
people. We get energized by the process and seeing things develop. And then once it's like in that great state where you can deploy it, you're like, next one.
Yeah.
That's great. I'm like,
It's so funny that you say that because so one of the investors that got all of this off the ground with me, his whole thing was like, so you're gonna get bored, then what? I'm like, no, I'm not.
No, that's why I keep on saying I don't know what my next iteration of myself is, but I know there needs to be one, and not because like what I'm doing is not and that's what I hear so many times when I'm talking to different, business people, entrepreneurs, realtors, whatever, and they'll be like, it's almost like they look at you and go, but isn't enough? Like, why aren't you satisfied? And it's not about not being satisfied with what I've done or created. It's the way I'm wired, and what fulfills me is doing something else and watching that come to fruition. I
Yes.
love the process.
Yes.
As Jason Garrett would say, trust the process. That
didn't really work out well for
It did
him,
not
but-
work out
Yeah.
well for him.
No.
So.
And on that note.
And on that note, what is our process?
Well, and the other thing about that sort of needing to pivot or knowing when to pivot or knowing when to change. So Wayne and I were talking about that last week, where it's almost like sometimes, and I'm sure you get this in the coaching world and in like the managerial world, where it's like you need to almost give permission for people 'Cause it's like, you don't have to die on every hill.
Yeah.
No.
You know?
Yeah.
And the idea that a lot of folks need permission to just do something different because it's like, well, I made this choice and this is my thing and I'm going to stick with it. And it's like, well, that's not necessarily, you know, the game plan every game.
Right. Right.
You know, there are
It's
halftime
called
adjustments.
calling an audible.
Yeah, or halftime adjustments. Oh,
Yeah.
look at this. We
I
are
know.
just
Football.
we are sports reference dense
Yes,
today.
I like
Yes.
it. You want to talk about pickleball?
Okay, I got to know what
How
is-
about those debates last night?
Oh, don't. Oh, gosh. She's
We're
like,
not
yeah, I don't want
even-
to talk about pickleball so much. I'm going to talk about the one thing I didn't even want to watch.
Yeah, we'll skip that. We
Yeah.
will skip
It
that.
was
No
it
politics.
was entertaining theater.
Yes.
But now
Amen.
I'm curious about like this whole pickleball thing has just, and now I saw it like we're all at like some sort of indoor megalopolis
Yeah,
for
you're not even
pickleball.
outside.
It's too freaking hot right now. I'm going to die of heat stroke. And I like to play for like I'm a Labrador with a ball. Like I want to keep on playing until like my knees give out. So I need to be inside right now. And so Pickleball Kingdom just opened their first location in Texas in Plano. And so
It's called Pickleball Kingdom.
it's called Pickleball Kingdom. It's like 15th and Custer.
Rightfully so.
Yeah, but you know, here's the great part is that they've got 3 different sets of open play during the day. So if you have nothing going on or something else and you need to go, you can go. It's like it's a jump game, you know, like basketball or like when you put your quarters down at a billiard hall, right? You put your paddle in there and you get rotated into the game.
Oh.
And so it's neat. So you don't necessarily have to go because I like to play doubles. I don't singles and pickleball and my body shape at this point is not going to work. But it's fun. So you could go early morning, you can go in the afternoon, or you can go evening open play, or you can reserve the courts and go play with friends. But I'm finding that there's a big faction of our industry in real estate are getting into pickleball, or maybe I've gotten them into pickleball and now they're hooked, you know? And it is. And so it's fun. And so it's I think it's the new, more approachable golf.
I was going to say
Okay,
it looks
that's
a
fair.
lot like the networking aspect
Yeah.
Yes.
of golf.
I just closed on that deal that I was telling you guys about.
Yeah.
And what's funny is we became friends with the realtor and the lender on the buyer side, and I was the listing agent.
I love it when that happens.
And so become Facebook friends on there. And then the next thing I know, I'm getting ready to go to Pickleball Kingdom, and they just left on their stories. And I'm like, bro, did we just become best friends?
I think so.
I think we did. And then realizing, so I think here's the other thing too. I don't have the attention span to play golf for 7 hours.
I've never golfed in my life.
No,
It looks
but,
horrible.
But that's
Horrible.
where
I
deals
do
are
love,
done in
I
networking.
do love the golf course. I do.
It's beautiful.
I do love
It's
the,
beautiful. Let me run on it.
Well, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and it's like we do a lot. So I have one client, global luxury client, that we do a lot of stuff at Glen Eagles.
Yeah.
And I love the place. I love.
They have lots of pickleball there.
That's true.
They do.
That's true. So the charity classic in the fall actually has a pickleball day.
Fantastic.
Oh, there
Invite
you
me.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get like a Metrotex gimmick
I
going
think that
there.
would be-
Are y'all
that would-
allowed to invade CCAR territory?
Yeah, absolutely. We're friends. It's all good.
Okay.
Yeah. I play with Kyle Paris, who's the secretary treasurer of Collin County.
Okay, fair
so
enough.
he and I
And you
play.
play with Chris Ty.
I did. We
Yes.
played. So I played with Chris and Kyle.
Look at that, building bridges through pickleball.
Look at that.
I know, but
knew?
honestly it's the great
Pickleball will
unifier.
change the world.
We might be sending nukes across enemy
dude,
lines.
Last night they should have just gotten
Pickleball.
They should have
Forget the
gotten
debates.
they should have gotten Hunter to get Joe super gacked and send him out on the pickleball court, and they'd have been friends.
Trump and Biden playing pickleball.
They had left friends.
I don't know about that one.
I think I'd like to see
I think
it.
this is where we pivot.
There you go.
Yeah.
Pivot.
Pivot.
And so now, how are you guys doing otherwise as far as like the business thing and the because like me, I don't know what is like my problem or my so where it's like I get excited when there's chaos in the world.
I was built for chaos.
I love chaos. Yeah, well,
Controlled
I love
chaos.
I love chaos that has a result.
Yes, and I'm a natural fixer.
Yes.
And so that
So-
gets my juices pumping.
So a little therapy session.
Okay, I need that.
Well, no, I met with my therapist
Oh,
on
okay.
Wednesday.
Oh,
and we-
okay, got it.
yeah.
You had
I
a
thought-
therapy
I did.
session.
I thought you
And-
were doing an intervention.
Well, and perhaps because I'm sensing that this could apply. So the whole thing was about me not being able to find joy in things.
Okay.
And what he suggested and what we talked about is that because I'm such a chaos-driven person
Yep.
and I love to problem solve, that what happens when I get involved with something, instead of it, he actually said it's because I'm so smart. And I'm like, okay, fine, I'll just keep paying you. We'll meet
Hook,
everyone
line,
now.
sinker.
Yes.
Money well spent.
Yes,
Continue.
yes. But what he said is because of that natural tendency,
Yeah.
I can't find joy in things because immediately when I get involved with something, I start going down the rabbit hole of how I need to fix it, how I need to change it, how I need to solve it, all of the things instead of just being in the moment. So like one of his examples was like, so when you run, do you just run? And I was like, no, I don't. Like, I need to know how many calories I'm going to burn, like how many miles I need
We've
to
got
do.
analytics to look at.
Yeah, like I need to know how many miles it's going to take to close my rings for the day because I have those set. Like it's
right.
He's like, okay, normal people will just run. I'm like, I don't know those people. Who are those people?
You're like, what's wrong with them?
Yeah,
Or shouldn't we be? Yeah.
But and that's what he was saying is people who are very smart and very entrepreneurial oriented.
Yeah.
They're always looking for how they're going to solve it, fix it, and it takes away their joy. Whereas more simplistic minded people, it's easier for them to be happy all the time because they're not looking for the fix.
Right. Oh, blissful ignorance is what
and
we
that's,
call
and
that,
that's,
right?
so
and that's
to
kind
that,
of what it was.
I saw this TikTok trend or whatever, or it just came up on like one of my hustle porn feeds where there's this thing of like these dudes at airports where they call it like bros in airport mode, where it becomes this, they've gamified and to a ridiculous level, which I always appreciate idiot guy stuff where it's just like, oh my God, that is so dumb. I love it.
Yeah.
But it is the airport. So
But these guys go into airport mode and then they set personal records on, I went on the entire flight for 16 hours and sat there, looked at the map on the...
Oh, I've seen that.
Yeah.
And that,
So it was like to your thing of...
the anxiety of that.
My immediate thought is like, what is all that time wasted? It's just like, I could be...
There's so much you could accomplish.
Yes.
Yes.
But it's and then now it becomes like this, it's an accomplishment to not accomplish anything.
Right.
And then it's like, bro's living in 1973. He's just flying.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, that's interesting. And then the fact that can take on a life of its own.
Yes.
And the hustle porn productivity muscle is now at like,
Because
how much
we
can
don't
I
know
not
how to
do?
rest. We don't know how to rest anymore.
Now, are y'all like that way naturally? Because I don't ever remember not being that way.
No, I've always been off my rocker like
my
this.
mother will tell you, and this is probably why she ignored my mouth scoliosis. I was always going.
We love you. We love you, Mom. You taught a great forms class on Wednesday. Thank you for that.
She's texting me, and she was like, "Man, that instructor, she had to like go like whatever you said, like nuclear, got a little spicy in there." And so I'm like, "Oh, I know it's my mom that was teaching that class," and so she didn't know it was my mom. And so I let her go, and I kind of baited her on a couple of things to see. I was like, "Well, how'd she do?" You know? And then I was like, "Okay, not to like throw you under the bus. That's my mom." And she was like, "God, if I had known, I would have said, Sherry, mild scoliosis." Like, there we go. But no, I mean, she'll tell you it was just one of those things. And she'll use a reference where I had brand new sandals and we were at the pool and my mom said, "Don't you dare." Oh no, that was a different one. But don't you dare. Oh, it was two things. It was like, don't you dare set your feet in the pool. And I turned around and I stepped in the pool and I just said, girl's got to do what a girl's got to do. Right?
No,
And
that's
it
just
too.
disobedience. I don't know.
No, that's passion. And then my mom said, don't you dare
Peter's
step a
laughing.
foot.
He's over there laughing.
Well, but then don't you dare step foot in that street. So I got on my stomach and put my hands in. You know? I mean, that was just like, you're trying to put boundaries and parameters around me.
I'm still just saying
and then I'm a
disobedience.
wild Bronco.
Yeah.
I love
okay?
it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Okay.
I was that kid that like other parents would tell their children, could you be more like Ashley?
Yes.
So it was like I knew how I needed to behave and hold myself and everything else. That was 2-year-old Ashley. And maybe I didn't have I didn't know my personal button yet.
You came out of the gate. You
I
just
did.
Came out, yeah, you just came
You
out
evolved.
hot.
I mean, my parents had me on Ritalin as a 6-month-old. Who does that?
They tried to tell my mom in kindergarten that I had ADD and to look at that, and she was like, no.
No, my mom, if that would have been the
Your
case,
mom
if,
was in denial on a lot of things.
my mom would have had me paint in
how
the
we
garage
coped.
at 2 or 3.
Yes.
If I had that like uncontrollable energy, they'd put a paintbrush. She'd have put a paintbrush.
Just, there you go. Get those baseboards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so now I'm curious because my experience was I wasn't necessarily driven as a kid.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I was. I was.
I was driven by, I liked the sense of achievement and stuff, but there was something about, like you were talking about being, smarter than the average bear.
Yes. Yeah.
And being in that world of like gifted and talented or whatever. It's like when shit really got hard, I didn't like that. And
True, yes.
The whole thing of getting used to like, oh no, you don't win all, like there's this weird, or at least for me, there was this weird timeline where everything was super easy and I didn't know that it was super easy.
Yeah.
And so like, elementary school or whatever, where it's like, okay. But I could look at the book once and just, all right, got it. Boom, boom, boom. And then of course, standardized tests. But like, so back to the whole thing of perseverance, and I had to learn how to get my ass whipped and that it wasn't the end of the world. Because were you guys conditioned in that way where it was like, if you didn't get the A or if you didn't win or then you suck? Or that like there was something inherently...
I did it to myself though. Like I look back on my parents and I don't think that they really, like I think I did it to myself. I really do.
See, like so like my little business coach, therapist or whatever, a lot of this I'm trying to decipher and sort of reverse engineer. Is this learned behavior? Because it's like, I'm like, how could a kid come up with the concept of like, if you're not in the, 4.0 world or whatever.
Especially in kindergarten.
Or just, or any of those like single.
Don't eat the glue.
That goes in the
A+
win column. Yeah. And those little the little cardboard letters, because remember those?
Yeah.
The little where you kind of like Scrabble, but they were there were kids that like ate those.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. They're running for president now. Sorry.
Well,
Touché.
But there is that thing where I'm like, okay, was that learned behavior to quit early? Like there was a time where I would quit when it got hard.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't handle the idea of like, wait, I'm not automatically good at this. What?
Here's funny. So before it would be, yes, I'm like, oh, hit a wall or something else but now I realize for myself when something gets exponentially hard, it's probably like silly at that point. Like I don't even know how to articulate, like stuff doesn't have to be that hard. So when
we overcomplicate it.
When we
goes
start
back to the joy issue, we overcomplicate it instead of just
now I would look at the things where like, okay, when things start to get exponentially harder, that to me, like, okay, that thins the herd.
Yes, it does. Yeah, no, it does. Speaking of our industry right now, I mean, that's absolutely, because where something or is disruptive or change occurs that make it a little bit more difficult for you to do what you naturally were doing. That's when, you got to hustle through, and because the rest of 95% of everyone else are going to quit.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I think there has to be something attached to that. I think now as a parent, I look at it with Alex. It's not that I don't want her to put in a ton of effort and excel and do those things, but she does it to herself. Like she was doing Duolingo, trying to teach herself Spanish.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So she was doing that, and she did it for probably 6 months. But, they gamify it because there's streaks and all of these other things. She would get me up in the middle of the night to go get her iPad in tears because she forgot to do her Duolingo, and she was going to lose her streak.
Yes.
And it was...
The streak is important, guys.
But it got so intense for her that she came to me and said, I'm deleting the account. And I said, well, why? And she goes, I recognized how much stress it was putting on me, and the stress was not outweighing the benefit was not outweighing the stress.
And that I think is what's different with that generation.
Yep.
Because I wouldn't have. Gracie's done that with some different things that made her feel uncomfortable because of how she got involved in them.
Yeah.
And like she doesn't go on Instagram anymore because she feels like body shaming and stuff like that, even though it's just seeing the things.
But that she recognized that that's something that trips her up.
And I don't think I ever would have. Certainly not at that age. And I think that's where.
So we're not failing as parents?
We're not failing as parents.
Okay, got it.
We're good. We're good.
Oh, no. And then I look at that and think of like, man, you guys are swimming uphill 24/7.
Yeah.
With just, people always say like, oh, well, if I'd have been around in World War II or whatever, I'd have fought, I'd have run against Hitler, and it's like, no, you'd have probably been just like one of the guys at the
Right.
guardhouse
You don't
or whatever.
recognize it
So
at
like,
the time.
my thing is like, oh my God, the knee-jerk thing is like, oh, if I was in today's world, I'd be like so on top of things as a kid. And it's like, oh my God, no, I'd have been ate up and spit out by
Yeah.
the algorithms and just the way that it's like this constant bombardment of
Comparison.
stimulus.
Well,
Yes.
it's comparison. And I think all of those things, you're comparing these metrics. So I should be here and I'm not, therefore I'm failing. And that's not like, slow is okay. And that is something that I
there's
think I've had to
no-
teach myself.
There's no overnight success.
No.
It
No.
doesn't happen overnight. There's all the work that came in behind, and maybe there was luck and different things like that.
Oh,
but
there's
you
always
still,
luck.
There's always luck.
Yeah.
But you still put in the work.
Well, I think that's the biggest thing, especially in real estate. I mean, it's been no secret that the last 4 years have been an interesting ride in the
Wow.
real estate market.
Ain't
and,
that the
and,
truth?
and we saw a lot of people that were a flash in the pan that
Yeah.
that understood how to gamify the market.
Yes.
Yes.
And I do not knock them for doing that. They found their gimmick, their shtick, and they gamified the market, and they made a lot of money on YouTube and other things, what they were doing. But I can tell you right now, I haven't seen them in a while.
No.
They're gone.
But
They made their money and they got out. Good for them.
Good for them. You made money. Now they're going off to their next thing that
Yes.
they can gamify.
Yes.
And that hey, mad props. They're like, hey, flash in the pan's over. Let's move on to the next one.
Yes.
Whereas
Buy my course.
Yes.
Right. There you go.
Oh my gosh.
But that's, I think, one, especially when you're talking about entrepreneurs, they always compare themselves to somebody else that's where they want to be.
Yes.
And then instead of sitting there and saying, I'm going to attach myself to that person because success leaves clues and I want to do what they did, they tried to beat them.
Yes.
And try to get to where they are, when in all reality, this was a 20-year journey. This
Yes.
was a 39-year journey, truly. But this is a 20-year journey in real estate where I had to fail miserably, go to bartending, do all of these other things. And now here we are.
Asking me how I did it,
Uh-huh.
it's I just want to beat you.
I can do better than you.
I can do better than you.
Yeah. Which is
And-
why I stopped sponsoring agents, by the way.
Same.
I'm like, you are with me and you see how hard I work and everything else. And then it gets to a point where you just want to compete with me.
Yeah.
And you're not my people.
Or you don't want to listen to what I'm telling you.
Uh-huh.
Like you're wanting the shiny object or the let me buy leads for you or whatever those things are. And
how's that going?
You don't.
How's that going with
want-
buyer leads?
I know, for
going
real.
away?
How is that?
Oh, I'm curious about like so many of the things that
Did you get that new buyer's rep site?
Yeah, absolutely.
when I look at that, and it has been exasperating at times to look at somebody that has gamified things.
Yep.
And in the moment, they are like
They're on fire.
they're the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I look at that and it's like, okay. As a matter of fact, I had a gal in yesterday where we were shooting some content here, green screen wise, and she was asking me like, well, what should I do about this? What should I do about this? It's like, I've known how to do all of those things for a long
Yeah.
time, but it's like, I could never bring myself to gamify something to where what I'm doing is fake.
Yeah,
Like the old me
absolutely.
could have done that all day, every day,
Sure.
and then it's like, okay, let's go get hammered and do it again tomorrow,
Yes.
or let's do it hammered all day long,
That's gamifying it as well.
Yeah. But now I look and now there's like this slow burn that if you are in that sort of perseverance and that thing of like, if you don't suck and you don't quit, sooner or later you will.
Your ship will come in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, and I think that's just the biggest thing, just in anybody's life right now, whether you're raising kids, whether you're starting a new venture or it's a 2.0 situation, if you're doing something else in the next iteration of your business, if you're in real estate right now, it's hard, but understand hard times and perseverance through those hard times is exactly where you're going to be on fire and build that sustainability. And I think that's where, all this, and I will tell you right now, I was saying this to my mother the other day. I was like, I know everybody's really upset and really up in arms about all the changes and how we're tactically approaching, the transactional relationship and everything else in those matters. But in all reality, if I had not been as involved as I was in our industry, affecting policy change, understanding where everything was going, and being in those rooms to help myself process that, I'd probably be freaking out too. But that's when you have to look at others that aren't freaking out and go, what do you know that I don't? And it's nothing like, catastrophically different. It's just, I've put myself in rooms to prepare for this day.
yeah.
And that is what people aren't doing. That day will come where if you did not prepare, you're going to be, up a creek without a paddle, as my husband would say. And I think that's where we're seeing a lot of agents right now is they did not prepare for this moment. They've been in a transactional mindset. They have not been paying attention to the industry. And now they're going, what? you know, and they're getting caught with their pants down.
Yes.
And so
Well,
that's
and
where
a
we
lot
are.
of it too was that whole thing where there was always a hack. There was always
Yeah.
I'd always
A
joke.
shortcut, a way around it. Yeah.
I always joke, like, you can tell what the newest, hackiest thing is by looking at, like, okay, what's the most recent brand new offering in a CE class?
Yeah.
You know, and
That's good. Yeah, for sure.
And it's usually something like fill in the blank social media platform, fill in
Yes.
the blank AI gimmick, or like here's
YouTube, AI.
yeah,
Yes.
here's
yes.
137 AI prompts to like take
Yeah.
your business. You know, it's
Yes.
like, really? Couldn't I just ask AI for 137 AI prompts? I don't know, you know.
Yes, you could, which shows you right now that it is not that hard, people. You just have to put in the effort.
Yes.
Right.
It's effort. Effort over execution.
Yes.
I mean,
Every time.
Yes.
1,000%.
Because even if you go to the class, are you going to then implement anything you
No.
learned? No.
And I used to tell, I would come at it with the tough love thing, where it was like, I would come in there and it's like, okay, I've got 2 agents that I've done all of their content for the last 4.5 or 5 years or whatever. And they are both number one in their respective offices on 2 different brands. Oh, and by the way, they live within a half mile of each other.
Yeah.
So it's like, clearly there's enough business to go around if you know
Thank
what
you.
you're doing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you don't have to fight. They've worked together on a couple of deals. They like each other.
Yep.
And yet they've been consistent with the actual content, the process, and everything that is done. So it's like very simple for 100 people to be in the room and be like, oh, I want to do that. I want to be that. And then 3 of them might,
Yep.
but most of them won't. And then there's this weird thing where people get this dopamine hit or this feeling of, I think this is how Tony Robbins got so massive, where it's like you can sell the dream in that little 72-hour window of
Yes.
the boot camp and the firewalk and all of that stuff.
Absolutely.
And people come away feeling like they did something,
Right.
you know, or that they
but then they don't do anything.
right.
Because wherever you go, there you are.
Yes.
You know, and so I mean, so in all reality, we're talking about perseverance, and we're you know circling back to that. I think that's the biggest thing. You can put yourself in a 72-hour crash course. You can go to a boot camp. You can do all those other things. But if you're only going to perform in those small silos of an incubator, then you've got to figure out something else that's going to drive you on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And it's something different for everyone. It might be running. It might be pickleball. It might be listening to somebody yell at me in a compilation on YouTube. It might be watching TikToks. You know, I mean, whatever that is to get your juices flowing so you can get active.
So
that is
you
what
can
you should
take one small step forward every day. It
Every
doesn't have
day.
to be a huge
Action.
leap
Yes.
in 72 hours.
Kaizen,
Yes.
small, consistent action.
Correct.
Yes.
But delayed gratification. So if that is the other thing coupled with it, take consistent action, but be willing to delay gratification, because if you want that gratification up front, then you're going to try to leapfrog all those steps, and then you haven't built a solid foundation to sustain any type of disruption. And that is what we are seeing in the real estate industry right now.
Exactly.
There you go.
Yeah.
Look at that. You
Clip
landed
that.
the, yeah.
Clip that.
Oh,
Yes.
Land the plane.
yeah. You dovetailed it, circled back around,
Beautiful.
and landed the plane. Well, all right. Thanks, everybody.
Have
Thanks,
a
you
great
guys.
weekend.
We'll see you
Yes.
later.
Yeah.